Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, let's talk about this situation with Judge Kenneth King and the consequences of his actions. Now, let's go ahead and start with the video first.
One more time to put you in the back, understood? One thing you'll learn about my courtroom is that I am not a toy. I am not to be played with.
Now, you see, he initially gave a warning of the whole entire situation, right? Now, I wish I could find a full video of what was the
I'm thinking maybe she needs to go to the juvenile detention facility. You do understand that we have a jail for kids.
So do I have any reservations? Do I think I was heavy-handed in what I did? No, I don't, because I'll do whatever it needs to be done to reach these kids and make sure that they don't end up in front of me. So that was my own version of scared straight.
Okay. So I will give my thoughts on this in a minute because judges are very sensitive. They are extremely sensitive when it comes.
You sleep at home in your bed, not in court.
So the fact that he was talking about you go home and get in your bed, how do you know my baby got a home?
I would assume, or the judge will most likely assume, that if she's part of this program, that she must have a good, stable home life. A lot of the times they say kids who perform the best are the ones that have a stable home life. They have two parents at home. That isn't this young girl's situation from what it sounds like from the child's mother. But that's what the judge is most likely assuming, that, hey, if she made it to this program, again, I don't know what the criteria are, but if it's there just to learn about the legal system, it sounds like it's something you will have to do. And the mother said herself that the student is a honor student.
How do you know my baby got a bed, her own bed that she can sleep in? She don't have that right now. So she was hired to belittle her in front of the whole world and her friends to make her even feel more worse about our situation. I'm a single mother. I'm trying my best. I'm doing everything that I can.
And the whole entire single mother thing kind of gets me a little bit, because when it comes to single mothers, my first instinct is to say, well, why aren't you doing better? Because single fathers don't ever get that excuse. And I can say that because I was a single parent. I still am a single parent, and I raised an honor student, an amazing young woman who's 16 years old, who is doing amazing and taking college classes right now as we speak. With that being said, though, did anybody sit here and watch me cry or tear up or get upset when I couldn't figure things out? No, I didn't have that luxury. I had to figure it out. I had to provide a way for my daughter. So when this woman says that her daughter does not have a stable place to stay, at least that's how I heard it, or a safe place to sleep, because again, that's how I heard it, because she said she doesn't have that right now. If the wrong people hear that, or that judge wants to be malicious, or she has a or he has a connection within DCF system, he can go ahead and send people to wherever that young girl is at, and make their lives even more difficult and take her children away while she's over here online crying. She shouldn't be on here crying at all. I understand she's upset. I understand that she's embarrassed. She should be embarrassed. She should be very embarrassed that her daughter does not have a place to call her home and sleep, right? That's just the reality of it. But that is not that judge's fault. He's working on the assumption that, hey, you have parents at home, which he didn't stereotype the girl if you really think about it. He said, hey, you got parents at home, you got a home, go sleep in your bed at home. He's assuming that that young girl has a good, stable home life. He didn't sit here and assume and say something negative. Well, why don't you go back to your single mom? You don't have a place to stay. Go back to the streets. All this other kind of stuff. He made the assumption that she had a home. And for the woman, the mother, to say embarrassing for the whole entire world, it really wasn't the whole entire world at first. And I wish I could find a full video of how did the young girl respond to the judge. Now, like I said before, judges have a history of being extremely sensitive. And this is not as a one-off. Growing up, and the woman said that, or the mother said she is a single mom. Single moms do not prepare kids properly for the world sometimes. And the reason I say that, I was raised by a single dad myself. He made sure that I be respectful to police and stay out of the legal system, because the legal system is no place for a black man at all. If you go there, you're going to get screwed over, and you're more than likely going to be locked away for a very long time. And if you do go in front of a judge, make sure you're respectful, you be quiet, you listen to what the guys say, and answer the questions directly, and don't be difficult. That's what men teach their kids, right? Because we unfortunately have to suffer the brunt of the consequences of this world. We got to go in front of these judges. Now, here's another video I found in this particular situation, not this particular situation, but a similar thing where a young woman got told off by a judge.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
See that?
Come back, man. Come back. Come back. Give me the paper again. Count one will be 10,000.
Are you serious?
I am serious. Adios.
You can hear the reaction of others in the court. Soto just cursed at the judge and then gave him the finger.
Come back again. Come back again. Bring him back again. I believe I heard you saying.
And that's the sad part is, and this is what I mean, that a lot of young women don't get taught the consequences of their actions, and that their actions will have consequences. Not everybody's always going to care that you're a girl. Not everybody is going to know your life situation. So whenever Judge Kenneth King saw that girl, he doesn't know her background. He doesn't know her from any other kid that he has seen in that courtroom. He's not going to say, yes, I know that girl. She does not have a home. She has a difficult home life. And in fact, he actually tried to reach out to the family and mentor the young girl, which would have been an amazing opportunity, even though they started off on the wrong foot. And I've had teachers and mentors that I didn't get along with at first myself personally, but it ended up being some of the best resources I ever had before in my life. Even though they didn't start off on the best foot, they let their feelings and their pride get in the way. Having a resource, being a mentor by a judge, can open a lot of doors for her daughter. Instead of saying no, you could have said, well, you know what? Yes, or not right now, maybe a little bit later. Because whenever that young girl graduated high school, because the mother said, I saw another video that her daughter's an honor student, and kudos to her for that. That's a big accomplishment. Whenever it's time to apply for these colleges, that judge's letter or recommendation would go a long way for that young girl. But instead, they want to be in their feelings and say no. This is why men are important in lives too. We can see the larger picture. Yes, you did wrong. You apologize. Thank you for apologizing. We'll take you up on that with the condition that you give a letter of her review, or something along those lines, something additional that will help benefit. Not just don't take the mentorship. Like, hey, at the end of mentorship, I want a letter from you saying how spectacular she was as a young woman, what she learned from you, things of that nature. So going forward, that could be added to our file for our college portfolio or whatever else she may need in life. Let me go and continue with this.
So,
Yes, I did. I'm not going to.
I believe you. Did you say? Did you say that?
Yes, sir. I did.
Oh, you did say that?
I'm not
I
gonna
find you in
lie.
direct criminal contempt. 30 days in the county jail.
Might be.
And that's the thing, right? And that's why I said I wish I could see the original video with Kenneth King and the young girl. And I was just using this video here as an example that sometimes girls or females or women have a habit of not taking men in authority positions not as seriously as they should, especially like a judge. Now, again, the girl seems smart according to her mom and the awards I saw that was held up for her. But I worry for that young girl. Sometimes when you don't have a stable home life like that, it could take you one or two ways. It could take you directly to the streets, or it can go ahead and push you even further and make sure that you're successful, so you won't ever have to see that kind of situation ever again. Now, I understand. I think the mom is more so embarrassed for herself and not necessarily for her daughter. Do I think that judge went a little too far when it came to putting her in the jail clothes and putting her in handcuffs? Absolutely. Now, if she was like sleeping and she did it twice, ideally when a judge shows you something once, you're supposed to straighten up and not do it again, because they would normally consider you in contempt. However, though, let's say she did do it again, putting her in a jail uniform and handcuffs, that is kind of extreme to me, especially since that's not a Scared Straight program. Scared Straight, you normally got to have the parents' permission to do that kind of stuff. ideally, if you want to sit her off to the side in like one of the holding facilities, because she won't know what it really is or not. So she'll think like, oh no, what's going to happen? Like, hey, you go over there, you sit there where we keep our prisoners. She don't know the difference. It could be an office for all she knows. And he said, I'll come there and talk to you later so we can discuss the consequences of your actions. That will hold a lot of weight for her in that situation. But him making her put on a whole entire uniform and handcuffs, yes, that part was a little too far. Especially in scare straight programs, again, you gotta have the parents' consent most of the time. I have not heard of a program where the parents will not 100% on board with. And again, we don't know what kind of permission slip they signed either for this particular program, or her mother did sign for this program. So there's a lot of unanswered questions. He could have been full within his right to do what he did, and maybe done it before, because that's within the permission slip guidelines. We just don't know. Now, because of his consequences, or because of his actions, he has suffered some consequences. Now, since he is a judge, he cannot get this fired and removed, right? He has to be voted off as far as I know. And let's see here. So they had this letter that come out. Okay. Detroit, Michigan, August 15, 2024. And I got a little science issue going on, so excuse me for a minute. Let's see. Following a recent incident in which Judge Kenneth King ordered a minor student to be handcuffed and detained and appearing to fall asleep in his court wing, we have conducted a swift and thorough internal investigation. Based on our findings, we are implementing the following immediate actions to prevent any future occurrences of this nature. Number 1, Judge King has been temporarily removed from his docket. Number 2, Judge King will undergo the necessary training to address the underlying issues that contributed to his incident. Now, what training and what incident? Is it the fact that he went too far? Is that what they're saying, that he actually went too far and they're acknowledging that? Or is it just one of these situations that they're just putting some fluff out there? They're just going to sit down and talk to the man, be like, hey, you shouldn't have done this. He's going to say, okay. He gets a nice little vacation and move forward. Anyways, continue on. These actions have been approved by the State Court Administrative Office. Please note that as Chief Judge, I do not have the authority to remove a judge from the bench, because you have to be voted out, right? However, I have utilized the authority to abide by the Michigan court rules to address this situation with the highest level of seriousness and resolve. We hope that these steps will help reassure the public of the 36th District dedication to serving our community with integrity and fairness. The 36th District Court, known as the People's Court, remains deeply committed to providing access to justice in an environment free from intimidation and disrespect. The actions of Judge King on August 13th do not reflect this commitment. But does it? They're in Detroit. Detroit is one of the highest crime areas in the United States. There are literally bodies all over the place. So if he feels a need to be extra tough on these kids so they won't fall into the gang life or the horrible activities that they go into, on one hand, I can understand it. Sometimes we gotta understand the environment these people are in when it comes to the harshness of the realities that they face. Detroit is not a soft place. If I remember correctly, Detroit is known as a city of broad shoulders. This doesn't make sense to me. If you're trying to correct the community, you gotta be hard on it on times. Now, do I think he went too far? Yes. Did he need to reprimand her for her actions and lack of respect by falling asleep repeatedly? Yes. It doesn't matter if you're tired in the real world, like I showed in the other video. If you sit here and disrespect a judge, or a judge is perceived that he's being disrespected, you're going to suffer some type of consequences of that action. And we have to be okay with people suffering the consequences of those actions, because that's how wisdom and better communities and people are built. Okay. To continue, we are regularly and actively welcome students to observe and engage with the judicial process, aiming to provide valuable education experience and foster familiarity with the justice system. We sincerely hope that this incident does not undermine our long-standing relationship with the local schools. Our thoughts and actions are now with the student and her family. We are committed to taking these corrective measures to demonstrate that this incident is an isolated occurrence. We are dedicated to ensuring that our court continues to uphold the highest standards in fairness and respect. And that's a pretty good statement. It is like, sounds like a lot of fluff to me. I don't see a lot of action coming from that. And truthfully, I don't see this man being voted out. Now, I know my opinions that I said on this is very unpopular. I understand that, and that's fine. But I come from an area where I seen a lot of drugs, a lot of violence, a lot of bodies on the ground. So I can understand when you have a judge that actually genuinely care about his community, he's going to be hard on those people. Now, again, I do think he went too far by putting her in a uniform and handcuffing her, but at the exact same time, he could have very well just sat her in the room and said, I'll come talk to you later. That would have scared her too, most likely. Especially if she'd never seen the inside of a courtroom before, like her mother said. Anyways, you guys tell me what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching.